Hello, everybody. Welcome to another Wednesday night Hobby CNC with Dave. Hope y'all are doing well. Let me bring in my crew tonight. We got Paul on the right and Mr. Ballard on the left. How y'all doing?
Ooh. Doing all right.
Well, Ryan, we'll start with you. So we'll go left to right here. What have you been up to last few days?
Well, I finally was able to put out a video that was supposed to come out on Sunday, but my phone didn't have any memory. So I've spent the last couple of days on and off trying to get stuff off of my phone so that I could save the video.
Yeah, I was thinking today, you and I have a lot in common.
Yeah.
We both had a video come out today, and our dogs was the star of the video.
Yeah. They, yep, she did show up in it. The main difference is that people watched your video.
Well, a few of them anyway.
Yeah.
But all right, well, good deal. When the next one coming out? You on a roll now?
Oh well, I gotta do one now. I gotta get rid of more space on my phone.
Okay.
I have to delete all the video from that one so I can do
Yeah.
another one.
Yeah. All righty. Paul, you got any new projects to show off tonight, or? Oh, we
Paul's
lost.
muted.
Paul's muted.
He's still muted. He doesn't know. There you go. Nope, still muted.
Still.
Paul has taken up miming.
Yeah. All right. Well,
you're you're still quiet there, Paul.
yeah. I don't know what's going on there, Paul.
Thanks for watching them, Andy and Tom or John. Well, I don't know why I said Tom. John Thompson, I guess is why.
Yeah.
Thanks for putting a view out there for us.
All right. It looks like Paul's going to leave and then pop back in, so we'll wait on him to come back. But while we're waiting, I want to go ahead and do something here. I'm going to put a banner up. I've got a question for the audience here, and I'm just going to leave this up so everybody can see it because I know folks trickle in and out here. So there is the question for the audience, and put your comments in the live chat, and we will go back and review them. We're going to be talking about some stuff here.
Can you hear me now?
We can.
Yes, we can. Verizon.
All you gotta do is turn it off, turn it back on. It fixes everything.
Yeah, that always works, doesn't it? Okay, so as I was saying, Paul, do you have any new projects to show this week, or?
No, I have nothing to show, but since I'm the 1/3 that hasn't put out a video, you've given me the drive to work on a video.
Okay, all
I
right.
don't know what it's going to be about, but I'm going to work on a video.
Yeah, well, as you can see by mine, it doesn't need to be about anything important.
I thought it was pretty good.
But well, I had a lot of fun making that video, just because I'm a big Chit fan, so I thought that would be a good thing. I kind of hate it though. I probably should have used a different material for that inlay because they're just, that pine, the grain in that pine is just so busy. Plus, it gets darker as well, uh, and it just didn't have the pop that I was looking for. But I mean, you can still see it and tell what it is. But the main point was to prove that, or to experiment and find out that you can. Not just make a cutting board out of southern yellow pine, but also do a inlay which I got to tell you, I wasn't sure it was going to work because I kept thinking, when you go around some of these little things, you have just a little sliver. I kept thinking that, the pine, it might chip it out and stuff like that, but it worked just like maple or walnut or anything else.
Nice.
So, uh, in fact, that chit inlay was so detailed that I was a little worried when I was gluing it up because it was hard to find just the right spot because there's so many little pieces. If you didn't get them lined up perfect and then you press down too hard, I was afraid I'd bend something over or
Yeah.
whatever. So if you watch the video you saw when I glued it, then I really had trouble trying to feel to make sure I was in the right spot. But when I thought I was, and then I pushed down a little and hammered it in, and of course put it in the press. And when I pulled it out, I thought, well, I guess I hit it in the right spot because it it came out pretty good. So, but I really like that chit thing, and since I've already spent all the time kind of modifying it to make it work with these inlays, I might as well run one out of maybe a maple board with the darker walnut inlay. That would probably look a whole lot better than what that was.
I thought it was pretty much a success.
But but and again, I was also kind of surprised that with the pine. I mean, I guess you got to be kind of into that look because you can really get a pretty crazy pattern doing this stuff. Because that one I did had kind of some light colors and some almost light orange, I guess, or burnt orange or whatever, and had and then there was even some gray in there somewhere. But so you can get some good patterns switching it around. That one, after I put the oil on that one, I thought, well, looks kind of cool. It's different than the other ones, but yeah, had a lot of fun making those.
Yeah, it turned out good.
But, anyway, let's let me check.
I think you might trigger a couple people talking about lead times.
Oh,
I don't know.
Lead times depends upon what you order.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Uh, Before we get started on that, let me tell you a little bit about my Masso. Let me check my phone real quick
Is
first.
it working?
Well, let me tell you the little story. I unveiled it last Wednesday. It got delivered last Wednesday, and I was, of course, obviously pretty excited to get it and all that. And but I was trying to finish up a couple of videos. I was still, I think I was still doing part of that Indiana cutting board or the Idaho, if you're Ryan. Uh, Video. So, and then of course, then I had the chit one or the Southern Yellow Pine cutting board video that just came out today. So I was trying to get all that finished up. So I've just left the Masso setting. I hadn't touched it. Although I did take it into my desk in the office and did some measuring on stuff so that I could 3D print some things because I was just going to, it already had some standoffs, threaded standoffs in it for the people that buy the wiring module. And I thought, well, I'm going to use my same old uh, DB25 cable with the DB25 breakout board. And then I'm also using like a little terminal block too. So I thought, well, I'll at least 3D print some stuff that I can use those standoffs that are already in there to fasten those. And then I'll make the 3D printed stuff uh, at 100% infill, and then that way I can tap them, because it's hard to tap them with a tap unless you do 100% infill, because you hit a hollow spot and it just doesn't grab. So I got all that done, and I thought, okay, it looks like I got my chit video got done Monday. So I thought, all right, Tuesday's wide open, so I'm going to get, I already had the video scheduled to be released this morning. Got it uploaded and everything. So I'm going to tackle it Tuesday, and I thought, well, it's not going to take long, because since I'm going from a Masso to a Masso, it's not that much different. The main thing was getting my my monitor mount thing that I'm using uh, all set up, and I'd already mounted the metal plate on the back of the Masso and all that. So I thought, all right, let's go. Tuesday's the day. And of course, I wanted to shoot a video of it too for people that, because I don't know. I mean, I guess there are some videos, but I don't know if there's that many videos of a Masso out there on a DIY machine. At least not one that doesn't have a big old bunch of wires hanging off the corner of the machine. So mine has one cable, that DB25 cable, which isn't. That's another thing, that the Masso comes with a rectangle opening, and then it's got 4 holes, 2 above and 2 below. So I made another split plate so that when I put the DB25 cable through there, and then it's got kind of a half a hole in each side, so you pinch that up. So now that opening is blocked off, but it holds the cable. It's a nice setup. I mean, really nice setup. But here's the thing. I got out here, I started shooting video and stuff, and everything was going just fantastic. And then I went to turn it on. When I went to power it up for the first time, they tell you to, and the other thing I'd already done too, I forgot to mention, I'd already put that little module, that was the Wi-Fi module, I'd already plugged it in, and then I'd also put a CR2032 battery in. So it was all ready to go, got the power hooked up, got ready to turn it on, and I thought, well, I know first, and I'd already been to the Masso website and downloaded the firmware, ready to put on it. So I know when you turn them on, in order to get to the load screen, you gotta, as soon as you turn it on, you need to tap the screen. It's kind of like hitting F1 or whatever on a computer, which makes the load screen come on. Well, I kept doing that, and it never came on. In fact, I fooled around with that thing, trying it, I don't know how many times. And finally I thought, well, I don't know what, you don't know what to fix if you can't even get it to boot up, So I thought, well, let me go on their website and fill out a support ticket. Of course, them being in Australia, and, about 14 hours difference in time, I think. So I think it was around 5 o'clock yesterday afternoon when I put in the support ticket. And of course, about 7:30, I hear from my old buddy, Peter Pasuelo, who is the, I think he's I'm pretty sure he's a Masso tech. Now he's in New Zealand, or at least I guess he's still in New Zealand. I don't think he moved to Australia, but I think he just works probably from home, but works as a tech support for Masso. So he's the one that emailed me back. So he read what was going on, and he says, well, can you check the voltage here and there? And that's yeah, here's what I'm getting. And so then his first thought was that, he says, that's really strange. He says, because when you turn it on, you have to be pretty quick. He says, I think within 4 seconds to tap the monitor. And I said, well, yeah, I'm tapping it as soon as I hit the switch, And he says, well, what's weird, he goes, because even if you didn't tap it, he says, you get a welcome screen or something. It would come up, even if you were too slow and you missed load screen, the welcome screen would come up, and then you would have to turn it off and do it again and tap quicker. So anyway, so I wasn't getting anything. So then he says, well, and again, I was about ready to go to bed last night, and again, because of the time difference, I'd get another email from him, and I go, okay, let me run out there and check that real quick. So he was telling me that he thought maybe one of the plugs on the um, touchscreen panel wasn't fully seated or whatever. And from what I could tell, they all looked like it. But then there was the last email I got from him last night was one telling me to take the meter and check the voltage on, I think it's where I think he called it the backlight cable. And he said it's supposed to be 12 volts there. And of course, he sends a picture of where to do it and all that. So I checked it, and it was only getting about 4 volts. So that was what I sent to him today. Of course, I thought, well, it's the middle of the night now, so I won't hear anything. And of course, just a little while ago, he messaged me. So if you see me looking at my phone, that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to see if there's anything. In fact, right when we were doing the intro, I got an email, and he's saying, "Hey, can you check that voltage at the power terminal one more time? Make sure it's 24 volts." So I just did that and sent him that. So they're working on it. I don't know what the deal is, but I can't tell you how freaking disappointed I was that whatever's wrong with it is I mean, it won't even boot up, and I'm like, man, I mean, because I thought for sure this thing going to be down and dirty pretty easy. So I had already taken all the stuff off the other one. And of course, now, depending on what happens with this one, I may be going back to the Gen 2. And I had, I had it working like a champ with that thing. So that's what makes this one really frustrating is.
Have you hooked up an external screen to it yet, and just bypassed?
Well, it's different when you get just if you order just the G3 and not the G3 Touch, I thought they were the same. I thought it was the exact same unit. The only difference was one's in an enclosure and the other one's not. Well, it turns out if you go to look at the G3, just that unit, it's still got the VGA connector like the other one does, like the old G2 does. But this one doesn't. They have a special kind of plug that works with this.
Oh, okay.
So it's a real thin thing, much thinner wires and all. So yeah, I wouldn't even know how to go about trying to hook an external monitor up to this one. So, but anyway, that's my Masso story. Really disappointed, and I'm sure they'll get down to the bottom of it sooner or later. But
This may be a really dumb question.
Yes, it was plugged in, Paul.
I'm not going to say was it plugged in. I was going to say, does the e-stop control that?
No, well, because I've done it both ways.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
that was a dumb question.
When well, I guess I don't know if you don't have a Masso, so but even on the old Gen 2, when you boot it up, first thing it does is there's two things that are flashing. The homing thing, because I have it checked to tell you that you need to home it before you do anything. And then, of course, the other thing is you can't do anything until you push the e-stop in and then open it back up.
Oh, okay.
So, but I don't think it matters whether it's pushed or open when you're trying to boot up. And I've done it both ways now, just because I thought of that too. I'm like, well, would this cause it not? But I mean, it really shouldn't. It should boot on up and then tell you that, hey, this is flashing. You need to clear it. But I never got a thing to show up on the monitor. No little, even I came out here last night. I brought a flashlight and I turned the garage light off because he said that if the backlight's working, you'll be able to tell by looking at the back. There's like a little opening down at the bottom corner. He says you'll be able to tell if the backlight's on, especially if you turn the light off. So I did that, and I went back and said, no, there's no backlight on at all, and that
Mm.
spot that you told me to measure that's supposed to be 12 volts is only about 4. So I don't know.
You got a dead one.
Least
Uh,
they could do is send you a backup and pay the postage to send that one back.
well, I don't know. We'll see what happens. We're in the early stages. Like I said, that's one downside of. It's just like if you buy something and you're trying to deal with China. There's about 12 hours difference there. But that's one downside of dealing with a company that's that far off.
Yeah.
Um, you gotta work that time stuff out. So anyway, we'll see what happens. Like I said, I'm still optimistic that they'll either figure out what's wrong with this one or do something. I don't know, but all I know is I've done got where I really love playing on my machines. So it won't be long. If I have to, I'll take it. And then because I can still hook power supply up to it. And when they say, okay, can you try this? I can still, because right now it's not doing anything. Screen won't even come on. So there's no need for me to have it really hanging where I've got it on the machine. So
Hmm.
I may have to go back to the old Gen 2 and use that.
There's no 110, 220 switch on it, is there?
No. There's no, all of it runs on 24 volts. In fact, the 24
Oh, okay.
volts needs to be, uh, it is slightly different than the Gen 2 because the Gen 2, well, I think it's because mine's not the Gen 2 was just that small thing. And if you order the Gen 3 with just the small thing, and you go look on their website, they'll say that you need to have between 12 and 24 volts. No, but on the G3 Touch, which is what this is, it's tighter than that. You got to have 24 volts, but it can be 20, no less than 23 and no more than 25. So, and I'm getting right at 24 when I do it. In fact, I even thought that maybe it was the crappy power supply because I was using one of those small power supplies that has 5 volts, 12 volts, and 24, and it depends on where you put the terminals, what you
Mm-hmm.
get. And that's what I was using. And I thought, well, let me just swap it out because I had a bigger one that was just a 24 volt. So I went ahead and swapped that out, thinking maybe that might solve the problem, but it didn't. It's still, and everywhere I measure at the terminals on the controller itself, on my DB25, or even that terminal block, it's all 24 volts is what I'm getting, or thereabouts. Uh, so I don't know, but boy, what a bummer. What what a bummer. And I really just wanted to be done with it because I was, I'd saved my settings. I'd gone back as far as the wiring because I can't remember what I had for lunch yesterday. My memory's terrible. So I went down, I got a notepad over there where I wrote down every stinking. What I did is I took the DB25 and I go, okay, pin 1, pin 2, and then I'd say this wire red goes to here on the um, Masso. And that way, there was no way I was going to forget. Plus, I took pictures and all that, too. So, but yeah, really kind of a bummer that I didn't even get to plug anything in. I really, because it wouldn't even power up. Or if it was powering up, it wasn't showing on the monitor. But it's got two little LEDs, a green and a red. So if you've got an air, the red's showing. And what happens is when I turn it on, the green flashes, which is what it's supposed to do as it's booting. But then once it gets booted up, the green is supposed to be solid. And it just never goes solid. It just flashes the whole time. So I don't know. We'll see what they say. You know, it's got to be hard for them to troubleshoot something. Uh, you know, on the other side of the world, basically.
Yeah.
But fortunately, I'm not like some people. You know, I do have a little experience with stuff, and especially with Masso, and you know how to read a meter, check volts DC and stuff like that. You know, I'm not real keen on all that stuff, but I know enough to be able to answer the questions when they say, "Hey, is it doing this?" So I don't know. Anyway, hope that they get that remedied pretty soon. All right, let's get on our topic for tonight. Let me go back here and let's see if anybody's commented.
Yep. There's a bunch of comments in here.
All right. Well, let's see. I guess I might break down, put my glasses on. All right. Let's see. What is Jerry saying here? He says, "I remember one time my USB had the control box lit but wasn't plugged in. 20 minutes. I figured it out a long time ago with lots of cords on the ball." All right. Let's see here. Where are? Yeah, it could have been. Although the box was pretty much pristine. I mean, y'all saw it when I unboxed it last week, and it had foam in it. So, and again, it's frustrating because you know when you open up something like that, you see those QC pass stickers everywhere. So, but it doesn't work. Oh, come on. So,
Here's one from Cosman. They get one with an ATC. Lead time not a factor.
okay. So lead time wouldn't come into your decision at all. Even if you had to pay all up front or half up front, some of them do 50 or 60%. Most of them do all up front. Let's see who we got here. Timber Falls says, if I were looking at a new hobby CNC machine, I might be looking at the Dominator. All right, from On CNC. Specs for that machine are pretty impressive. Lead time of 3 months or less would be reasonable. Okay, interesting. And let's go ahead and point out that with Pawn CNC, they're one of them that you pay full basket right up front.
No, Pone, you do 60% up front.
Oh, that's right. My bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, 60%, and then I guess if you put it on a credit card, they hit for the other 40 when it ships or something like that. Yeah, you're right. My bad. Let's see. Russ says, "Oh, he's talking about shit."
That's it. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, they Russ. They actually were filming that at the Groundling. So the office that the chip show was in is it's the box office for their theater. So, in one of the episodes, you can see it on. They leave the thing on the door, and you can see it on there.
All right. Kenneth says, "It's your investment. Get what you truly want. Long lead times just gives you more time to clean the shop to make room." You'd be surprised. I wish I had a nickel for every time somebody's posting the picture of the boxes that have finally arrived after 3, 4, 5, 6 months,
Yeah.
and they still haven't got the table built because time slips away, right, Paul?
Yep.
Time will slip away from you. But Okay, Andy says, let me know. Hope I'm not missing nobody here.
No, you're good.
I got an alt mill for my retirement present to myself. Hey, attaboy. That's what I'm talking about. And waited 3 months. They say they are getting better on production time. I got mine last year, no regrets.
Yeah, I think alt mill right now they're saying 5 to 6 weeks.
I did a little research today, and it is on their website at 5 to 7 weeks, which is considerably shorter than what
It
they
has
have
been.
been.
Yeah.
So, all right. Have I missed anybody?
Um,
Um,
looks like Jerry's gonna order one before the end of 2026.
okay. All right. All right. Let's see.
Ah,
Is there any more?
Harry. Here's one from Harry. Uh, the bigger Nemo Labs with the rotary seems like a decent value.
Okay. Yeah, the 6040, decent little machine. Definitely is.
And you can get that pretty quick because you can order it through Amazon.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, John's got a good point here. He says, most likely a bad touchscreen. You know how electronics can be one little bad solder joint and no working.
Yep.
Yeah, that's, I mean, I don't know anything about them, but that would be my guess that since it's not doing anything at all, that I don't know. But, I know those guys, they got to go through the checklist of things to check and all that. And I'm happy to check whatever they want me to do. I hope they don't ask me to tear into it too much because I'm not I'm not good at that kind of stuff. Plus, my eyes aren't good to see all them little tiny parts. I have to take a picture of everything and then blow it up on my phone so I can see what.
Hey,
The
Ryan,
fact that
there's one that falls right in your lap right there.
Yeah.
okay. Do you guys think it's easier to build a new machine versus buy a hobby machine if you've already owned a few machines before? I have been considering this. Um, I don't really know how to answer that because
It's all in what you want to do.
yeah, it's all in what you want to do. But I've made no secret that I have the utmost respect for the people who, especially the ones that design and build their own machines. They don't have to be pretty. They just have to work. And I've seen a ton of folks build some pretty ugly machines, me included, but they work, and that's the main thing. Some of this stuff that you see in these, I won't say commercials, but the little YouTube shorts and all, where they're doing that. Hey, look how fast this thing goes, and but that's all just that really doesn't mean anything. I mean, if you're a real CNCer, you know that precision is the name of the game, not speed. Just to say, hey, look how fast this thing goes back and forth across the machine. That don't mean squat. So anyway, let's. Okay, I think Ryan and Paul help me look and see if anybody else pops up over there. I'm gonna get something queued up over here, and we'll get talking about this.
I mean, it's definitely easier to buy a machine than build one yourself. But there's also some of them out there that are kits where you can still source your own stuff and all that. So
Yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, and another thing that I always mention too is when you build your own machine, even if you didn't design it, maybe you bought somebody else's kit, like you bought a Ranger from Ryan or something. Even though you didn't design it, but you build it. When you're putting that thing together, when you have any kind of little issue, you know that machine inside and out because you
Yeah.
put every nut and bolt, screw, and all that in it. So uh, long term, that's probably going to make you a better CNC person, is because you know how it goes together. You know when something's not right, you know what to do to fix it. Some of these guys that buy them, and yeah, they have to assemble them, but you know it's like 2 or 3 pieces, and boom, they're done. And then they, you know, I wish I had a nickel for every time I see these little Facebook videos of them showing something and it's going, and then they're going, what causes that? You know, they don't have a clue because they didn't, you know, they didn't really put it together. They just throw the big pieces together, and that's pretty much it. So anyway, let's get started talking about this other. The reason I've kind of run this thing, and let me put this back up here. We'll leave this up here, and I think it's hid whenever we do a comment, isn't it?
Yeah. Whenever you bring a comment up, it puts it
And
back.
then does it come back?
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. I can't get rid of them.
Oh, nope.
No, I guess it don't. It doesn't come back. All right. So anyway, I'll leave this up because we got 29 people watching now. We had less than that when I first put it up. So that's a question for the audience here. Um, if you want to participate in my informal poll questionnaire, put your answers in the chat and we'll discuss them as we go along here. Anyway, I got a video queued up over here. Let me get ready to pull it up. This, for some reason, I don't know why, popped up in my feed. And I don't normally watch this YouTube channel, but when I saw the title, I'm thinking, yeah, I know exactly what he's talking about. So let's add this to the screen here. The video, this is from Corvette Guy 50. I don't know if y'all watched him. Pretty good sized channel. He's got 100,000 subscribers there. So
Nice.
he's been around a while. But anyway, this video is titled, "This CNC Company Uses Your Money as an Interest-Free Loan." And he's, as you can see right there, he's picking on PW and CNC. Daniel, what was that guy's name? Daniel Moran, I think is his name. So he's kind of picking on this company. But as Ryan mentioned earlier, there are at least 2 other companies that we've spoke of on this show that get all of their money up front, and this company, PWN, gets 60% up front and then the other 40 when it ships. But that's what Corvette Guy, and this guy, I think his name is Vincent, that's what he's picking at this company for, saying, hey, you know, they're getting 60% up front, so they're using everybody's money to fund their business. They basically, oh, stupid ads.
Now I'm getting hungry.
Yeah. But yeah, there he is. That's Vincent right there. So he's talking about the dominate. Yeah, right here it is. He's got it here. Pay 60% up front, and the remaining will be thing. Well, like I said, I think that's not terrible. I mean, it's not good, but it's not terrible to get the 60% up front and the 40%. Like I said, I'm surprised that he's picking on this company as opposed to a couple others that we've talked about, because they, like I said, they get all their money up front, and you still have to wait. Well, people have waited 4, 5, 6 months in the past. I don't know what well, according to a couple of their websites. Let me just stop this video here, and I looked up some Well, actually, I love AI now. So I used AI and I said, what are the top 10 hobby CNC router machine manufacturers today? And of course, it came up with a whole bunch of them. Some of them, I don't think it was necessarily a top 10 list. It was just whatever they happened to think of. But I wrote down, I think I've got 6 of them wrote down here, and we'll talk about those. First one, sometimes when you think of um, a CNC, the first one you might see if you're scrolling on Facebook is a SainSmart Genmitsu. Uh, and of course, we know that you pay all up front when you order one of them, whether you're ordering it from their website or you're buying it off of Amazon, but their lead time is practically nothing because it's goes, you
Yeah.
know, they're churning those things out by the thousands and they've got them stacked up in warehouses. Amazon's got them. You buy one on Amazon and you're a Prime member, you're going to get it in a couple of days. So we know their lead times are virtually non-existent. Okay, then another one I thought of was the Carbide 3D. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll move this while we're talking about these other things. Carbide 3D, their big one now, I guess, is the Shapeoko. What is that one Clack's got?
Is that the 1300 by 1300?
No, no,
No.
no. That's what that's the Genmitsu one, but
Oh, is it? Okay.
that
All right.
Shapeoko thing that Clack's got, I think it's like the Pro 5 or 5 Pro or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. That's Shapeoko 5, I think.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is. But anyway, I checked their website. It says right on their website, in stock, will ship tomorrow. So
Hmm.
no lead time there. Inventables, good old Inventables, good old good
Still
old
kicking.
XR. Uh, if you haven't looked at Inventables lately, they're worth checking out because it's not your grandpa's X car. I'm
No.
telling you, they're a lot nicer now and affordable too. So, however, I could not find on their website where it says their lead times are. So if I couldn't find it, I sent them how you contact us thing, and I said, hey, what's your current lead time on the Shapeoko 5 or whatever? And I got an email back, but it was just like the standard thing, like, oh, thank you for contacting us. We'll get back to you within a day, yada, yada, yada. So, but I'm not sure, but I feel pretty confident in saying that if you ordered one from them, you get it pretty quick because I think they have those in stock as well. If anybody out there has dealt with them, let me know in the chat there.
Yeah. I wonder why
Okay.
you don't hear much about them anymore. Like, you go back 7, 8 years or whatever, and that was the main choice.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
but like you really don't hear anything about X-Carve anymore.
No, you really don't. Now I see. I can't think of that guy's YouTube channel. Make it, build it, or something like that, maybe. But he's I guess, kind of a spokesman for the X-Carve because I see his stuff on Facebook all the time as I'm scrolling. Whenever I see something about Inventables, it's always him.
Hmm.
And he's also, you'll see him in X-Tool laser sponsored ads too. So I
Wesley Treat also has one of the X-Carve Pro, one of their machines.
yeah. Um, okay, I'm gonna try to keep an eye on the chat too while we're talking. All right, the next one that I looked up was, and I learned a lot about this company. I had no idea, but I see these ads on Facebook too, and it's a company called Millwright
Mm-hmm.
CNC, And this company, I believe, sells CNCs and plasma tables, I think. I thought I saw some plasma tables when I was on their website. But anyway, and another thing that I thought was interesting is they have the Masso G3 Touch.
Hmm.
Is what they use with their. Um, did I write it down? It's called the. I didn't write the thing down. It's called the Mega V2, I think. Is their popular kind of 4x4 ish machine. But anyway, what I learned about them, and I had no idea, is they're right here in Georgia,
Oh, okay.
Leesburg, Georgia, which is, I think, southwest, I believe. So, yeah, I wouldn't mind taking a ride down there and check them out. Now, in looking around their website, like I said, I poked around, trying to look through all their frequently asked questions page and all that, trying to find something about lead time, and I couldn't. So I did like I always do. I go to the contact us thing, hit the thing, and I said, "Hey, what's your current lead time on the V2?" And of course, you have to put an email and a phone number and all that. Uh, and I mean, literally within 2 minutes, my phone rang, and it was from Leesburg, Georgia. So I know it was them calling. Now I didn't answer because I didn't have time to talk to the guy. I was busy doing other stuff. But and he never did, email me. So I'll probably get a phone call from him tomorrow and the next day, and probably the day after that until whatever. But anyway, yeah, I was surprised to learn that they're in Georgia. Another company we talk about them quite a bit. CNC Labs, makers of the long mill and the alt mill. According to their website, their current lead time on the alt mill is 5 to 7 weeks. I don't remember seeing it for the long mill, but I know it's not
I
near as
think
much.
I think Long Mill they had last time. I remember hearing Andy talking on one of the monthly things that they
Yeah,
have those in stock.
yeah. I think they're pretty much shipping those out
Yeah.
as. Of course, everybody's wanting the alt mill
Yeah.
now. That's why they've got the long mills in stock. But still, looking at 5 to 7 weeks there. And then finally, of course, the elephant in the room that we always talk about is the Onefinity. Uh, they're Foreman Elite, and I had to really do some poking around to find out anything on their website. But uh, they have, I probably couldn't even get back to it if I tried now, but they have a thing where you can go and check your order status or lead time status or something. I forget what they call it. But anyway, for a Foreman Elite, they're saying the current lead time is 8 to 10 weeks, uh, which is still pretty pretty long, I think, at least to me. Maybe not to some people, but it is to me. But I do have a bright spot on the news. On that Onefinity, uh, where you're looking at the lead time status or whatever, at the very bottom, it said, now, Ryan, you're going to love this. It
Okay.
said, full 8
Oh,
coming soon.
what?
Ooh.
Now, I found it interesting that when I go to their, and I mentioned this before, when I go to their website and you go to the little search thing and you put in full, you cannot find squat about that thing. But I did find it when I did the tracking. But all it says is coming soon.
Man,
So
you know, my
we'll.
wife keeps saying that she wants the full 8, but I don't know how she knows about Onefinity CNC.
I think you need to have a talk with your wife, Ryan. She might have to explain something to you. Yeah, I think so. But anyway, getting back to this video, like I said, this guy was really just giving PWN the what for about how it's
Yeah.
crazy that
I
that
did see
people
this
allow
video
these
too.
companies to just use their money like that. And I have to say, normally I don't agree with this guy, but we've talked about this very thing on this show before, several times probably, that it's just not a good way to run a business. I don't think. This guy said it in one of his comments. If we come down here, I don't remember where it was. I think it was maybe on this first comment. Yeah, I mean, this kind of says it all right here. Like this guy's saying, yeah, they all do it, parts distributor, yada yada yada, and he says no, this vendor doesn't, and he's talking about himself because he sells, like I said, CNC parts. He builds controllers and sells spindle cables, and I don't know what all. He's got a whole bunch. I think he sells it all on eBay. But he says right here, if I don't have it, I don't sell it. And, I certainly won't hold my clients' money. If you purchase something and it's out of stock, you hear from me within the hour to cancel your order with an immediate refund. And, I know it used to drive me nuts if I started getting too many orders from CNC because I'm like, man, I got to get out here and bust ass to get these things out. Because on my website, I would always say, just to give myself a little bit of a cushion, I would always say 5 to 10 business days. But I knew good and well 2 or 3 days at most was all it was going to take.
Yeah.
I had many a time when I'd get orders and I'd come out here and run them that day, come out here that morning, run them, take them to the UPS store that afternoon. I mean, uh, I just don't like having people's money when I know they're expecting something from me. But apparently, some people have no shame because they want, yeah, give us all your money up front, and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months, we'll send you something. But yeah, the lead time. Now, like I said, when I was looking at lead times, I was just picking something like a 4x4 ish CNC machine. I wasn't, because they have a lot of different lead times for a lot of different things. And I thought it interesting. We've talked about the red line deal before. They had the lead time for red line was 1 to 3 weeks, and I'm thinking, well, they're in North America according to y'all, so I wouldn't think it'd take 3 weeks to get something, But whatever.
The Corvette guy. The one thing that I didn't I didn't agree with what he was saying on that video was that he kept on talking about PWN like they were a brand new company, and
Yeah,
they're not.
and they're not.
They've been around. This is their first CNC, but they've been doing
They've been making accessories
spindle
and
kits and all
parts
that
for
for a
other
good while.
CNCs for quite a while.
Yeah, for several years. I think he said 2017 or
I
19,
think that's about right.
somewhere in that neighborhood.
So about what, 8 years or so, 7, 8, 9 years, something like that.
Yeah. So I
But
mean, but he was kind of talking about them like they were a brand new company and all that, um, but they're not a brand new company, and which none of these larger CNC makers are.
but
But
I mean, yeah, he might have been calling them a brand new company, but really, when you think about it, since they're not a brand new company and they've been around a few years,
yeah,
why haven't they got their financial house in order and like you said, get the stuff, buy the stuff. I mean,
yeah,
the thing
or
that bugs me, I like that machine design. It's a simple, it's basically just aluminum extrusion. They're getting the 80/20 stuff. Uh, Not a big deal. But one of the things that bothers me is that, and I think it might have been the video that he was talking about. When you go to their website, you don't see the actual machine. You see photo renderings from SolidWorks or whatever
Yeah.
CAD software they're using that creates photo renderings. You know, and then when he is standing in front of a real machine talking about it, it's like, well, I'm not running any tests on this one because this is the prototype. It's got a whole bunch of 3D printed stuff on. I'm like, man, get with the program, get the real deal out there if you want to sell these things. You know, you're
Yeah.
asking people to send you their hard-earned money up front, and then what? And as Vince says, wait 4 months for your CNC robot. No, uh, at least get the real deal out there. You know, it just doesn't make sense to go, okay, I know this is only 3D printed plastic, but it's really going to be really nice aluminum or something. Well, let's see the really nice aluminum.
Yeah.
You know, quit showing us the plastic stuff. Uh, you don't have a real prototype. I mean, you use 3D printing to get the design right, but once you get the design right, now go make a real part, and then put that on the first prototype.
Yep.
I don't
See,
know.
Jerry saying that maybe the small company doesn't have any money for whatever reason. If they don't have the money to fund something, whatever it is, then that's a problem for their longevity. You know, but I think, but if you look at any other industry that's selling a product, you know, if you don't have the money to fund a initial gathering, you got to get a loan. And because
Well, and of course now a lot of folks do the Kickstarter thing. At
yeah,
least
yeah,
with
or
the
yeah,
Kickstarter thing, if the funding doesn't make it, everybody gets their money back. But if you're just going in with this and they're saying, yeah, we're going to put this up for pre-order, send us your money, and then we'll have the money to buy the parts and
yeah,
do this. You know, that is not a good way to do business. And like
yeah,
I said, I normally don't agree with this Vincent guy, but I have to say he was spot on
yeah,
talking about that. I'm just surprised that he didn't hit the two worst offenders, which
yeah.
we mentioned though. I won't say who they are, but you guys know who they are. We mentioned both of them, or I did a while ago.
The I mean, you can also think about like cars. Like Tesla's been big about it in the last 10 years. Is they'll announce a new car. Well, they gauge the demand by taking a deposit, but their cars are 70, 80, $90,000, but they're only taking $100 deposit. That's refundable. So if
Right.
it's to gauge interest on it, take a deposit on it of $100, and then you can gauge how much money you need. But yeah, I mean, I agree. I think that they should be at least for an initial order of them, because that would get you going, because the ones that had been sold are paying for the next order to come through. It's not
yeah,
paying for the ones that you have to order. So yeah, I
yeah.
agree.
I just yeah, like I said, we've talked about this before, but I just think that's a really crappy way to do business. You can't. I mean, sooner or later, it's going to catch up to you. I
Yeah,
think. Um, I just you gotta. I mean, yeah, you're moving into a bigger place because you need more room and all this, but you can't just keep. And I guess they're not really going in debt. They're just using everybody else's money, you know. But yeah, the typical way would be if you didn't have your own startup cash, or you had some but needed some more, you'd go get a business loan, and then you work within those means,
yeah,
uh, you know, and I don't know. But yeah, this was an interesting video. Like I said, I think he pretty much nailed it. But I really was surprised that, because as soon as I saw the title, I thought, well, I knew what he was talking about. I just wondered. I thought he was going to mention several companies, but yeah, he only mentions uh, PWN or Pone or however you say it,
yeah.
CNC. But anyway, I don't quite get that. Jerry says, as we get older, it is a long time. Yeah, I would. I mean, I've almost bought the farm one time. I would be very leery of spending $2,000 or $3,000, $4,000 and have them say, "Well, it's going to be 6 months before we can get it to you." I'm like, "Shit, I may not even be here."
I
You know,
don't even buy green bananas.
that's right. That's right. Tell him, Paul, we don't even buy green bananas. So I don't know. I just think that's these folks, and I don't think they'll ever get the lead times down where they should be if that's their mode of operation is using the orders to run their business. But what do I know?
Yeah, I agree.
Oh, and you know what? I thought about Jerry's mentioning digital wood carver, and I'm thinking, I never think of that company unless I see Laney. Now, I think, well, wait a minute. I think it was today is Laney's birthday.
Oh,
It popped up on my Facebook thing, and I'm like, all right. So I sent him, happy birthday stuff and all that. And then I'm like, I never see digital wood carver popping up in my feed or on Facebook or anything. But they've been around a pretty good while now.
He's still working for him, isn't he?
Oh yeah, I think so.
I know he does his Spindle TV videos, but I don't remember hearing him talk about the digital wood carver on those. But maybe I just wasn't paying attention.
Yeah.
uh,
Okay,
t- oh,
John says my Premier Plaza CNC was 7 days lead time. Yeah, that's what I mean. I mean, you think 7 days, it's going to take them that long, get it off the shelf, get it packed up, and shipping labels and all that kind of stuff. So that's 7 days or a week. That's not bad at all.
yeah. Timberfall says that PWN's been putting videos out every week, and he doesn't think that they're misleading people who are following it. No, I don't think so either. I mean, they're at least
Yeah,
upfront.
let
He
me.
actually just put out a video about he's moving an all black one, or has moved it to his home garage so that he can show doing more videos and all that on it, because doing it at the shop is noisy. So
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
um,
and then
yeah. Let me just clarify. I'm not because I said I agree with this video that what's his name, Corvette Guy 50 put out. I'm not necessarily knocking PWN. I don't think they're trying to deceive
yeah,
anybody.
no,
But I'm just saying, get
it's
your shit together, people.
yeah,
These lead times are ridiculous.
yeah,
And let's see the real machine. Quit showing the photo renderings on um, your website and stuff. And I think I mentioned before, you mentioned he's taking the black one home. They offer them in black and silver. And I'm like, you got 4 month lead times. Quit offering color. Then you just complicate things.
yeah,
Be like Henry Ford. You can have any color you want as long as it's black. Or in this case, I would go silver.
yeah.
That way they don't have to do anything to the extruded aluminum. Get everything. Get caught up on your orders. Get some stock. Get some inventory. Then offer another color. That's just. I mean, come on, people. You want
Yep.
people's money and want to hold it for 4 months, and you're offering different colors and stuff. Not real smart.
And I think they're doing the anodization there at their shop, because they've
Well,
had
that helps if they're
videos
doing it
on
in house, but that's still a
that.
whole
Adds more
nother step
complication.
for a bunch of parts that
Yeah,
doesn't necessarily have to be done. Because as far as, I mean, it's aluminum extrusion. It's not going to do anything for strength, very little for cosmetic protection. It's really not going to do anything other than change the color.
yeah.
So I don't know. All right, let's see. Did I miss any comments? I don't.
Yeah. Jerry says that his next CNC is going to cost $500,000 or $600,000 because he's going to have to move to a bigger spot.
Now there's the channel I've been looking for. Polly wants a crafter. Good to see you on here, Jerry. I saw you earlier with that other channel name. Even Bob was having problems for a bit, but you gotta get an idea design. Okay, are you talking about Bob CNC? Is that who you're talking about?
I believe so.
I think that might be who he's talking about. But
Yeah, because there was a time frame when Bob was having a hard time getting wood.
yeah, back in the COVID years.
Yeah, which is funny because his name's Bob Wood.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe he should have gotten a full 8.
Well, we've officially gone off the
Bob
rails.
didn't deserve that. I'm sorry, Bob.
I think you just jumped the shark.
Yeah. All right. I'm looking here in, yeah, Bob CNC. All right. All right. Well, we're already into the third half of the show. Well, anybody got anything else they want to talk about before we get out of here? So apparently, I noticed a few folks. We didn't get a whole lot of responses in my little so-called survey, but I don't know. I guess I'm different than most people, and maybe it's because I'm old. Like I said, we don't buy green bananas, so lead times mean a lot to me, and to me it's all about just principle.
Yeah.
Why should I give you my money if it's going to be 6 months before you send me anything?
Well, I think it's also as far as in a new CNC is concerned, I think it depends on at this point where you're at in your CNC journey too. So if it's your first CNC, I wouldn't want to wait that long. I'd want to get one and get
Yeah.
going. Because by the time if I got to wait several months, forget it. I'm on to something else.
Yeah.
I'll never do it. But if it like I've got my Gatton, I've got a Ranger, I could wait 3 months for one to come in. It wouldn't affect my normal workflow for me to wait for a machine. So, but if it's going to be my only machine, I don't and I don't have one, I don't want to wait.
Yeah. Well, I'm impatient and I don't want to wait, but it's also because I think if you're running your business like you should be running it, people shouldn't have to wait.
Right. Well, and that's
Don't
the
sell
other
what
part.
you don't have.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's basically what it comes down to. Don't sell what you don't have.
It does make it concerning for longevity, like your thoughts about the company's longevity. I don't know how big Onefinity's facility is, but I know Andy Lee has said that they're running close to 20,000 square feet for CNC Labs, and so I mean if you've got that enough money to do rent on that and paying for this other stuff, you should. I think you should have a lot more stuff in stock than having to wait.
Yeah, Jerry brings up a good point here. He says, in the days of Amazon, if it takes a week, I'm groaning. I have shopped on Amazon, and you might find the same identical item. And of course, I'm Amazon Prime member, so usually it'll say, okay, this is Prime. Let's say I'm shopping on Monday, and it'll say, okay, this one you can get Wednesday, and then I keep looking, and I find the exact same thing, but now this one, I can get it tomorrow. I'll buy the one where I can get it tomorrow. I may not even need the thing, but I'll buy the one that says tomorrow. And then if it gets delayed, it doesn't come till Wednesday, I'm pissing and moaning at you daggum Amazon.
Yep.
You know, and then it gets here and it might sit a week before I even open the box. But that's
Well,
beside the point. You know?
now the interesting thing too to think about is like Kickstarters. Like, I did have to wait a little while for this guy to show up, but that was part of the Kickstarter. Like, you're not, when you put the order in, you're not paying for it until after the Kickstarter is over. But they were shipping out 4 weeks after it was ordered, after the Kickstarter ended.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Well, see,
I mean,
that's what I mean. If it's a Kickstarter
if
deal,
if it's a brand new, and that's a brand new product, the ones that you're ordering now, I can't remember. It's not a very long. It's about the same. It's about a month wait to get one right now. But even like the Centauri Carbons, they've been so popular that they are a couple months out. But I don't know. It's
well,
crazy.
all right. I just know that if I was looking for a CNC machine, which I'm not, but if I was, and somebody said, well, and let me rephrase that. Say I was looking at one because I wanted to get one to start doing a side gig. Picture me 30 years younger,
Mm-hmm.
40 years younger, whatever. And I want to get one to do a side gig. Instead of buying the one that's going to take 3 or 4 months to get, I buy one of these other machines where they have them in stock and I can get it within a few days, because by then, especially if you're new, you can learn how to use it. Think how much stuff you can make in 3 or 4 months.
Oh yeah,
You'll
I mean
have that
that's
machine
taken me
paid
through
for and
seasons.
probably the one you wanted to order.
Yeah.
So, but I don't get it. There's plenty of people that don't mind waiting. There's others that I've seen that have griped when they finally got it. And what's really bad is when it takes 5 or 6 months to get something and then it's missing something or something's damaged or all that kind of stuff. So I don't know. I'm just glad I just build my own daggone machine. I don't have to worry about nothing.
Swang Lee has a question there. Is it worth doing the Eric the Inventor build to fit a Chinese 3020 with a Makita router and linear rails? The Eric the Inventor one, I've not heard of that. I don't know what that one is.
I
I'm
think,
not familiar
I think
with
it
that
means
one,
build your own.
Yeah.
but if it's going to fit a Chinese 3020 with a Makita router, linear rails are always better than um, the little belts which come on a lot of those little Chinese machines. Hopefully, it's got ball screws as well. The Makita router, there's worse things you could use.
Yeah.
Um, they're, I mean,
The Makita's
they're
pretty
a
common.
router. They're not designed to be a CNC spindle where it's on for long periods of time and stuff like that, which any router isn't. But it's still better. It's still better than those little DC
Yeah.
750-watt things. You could just about stop it with your hand. That kind of thing. So yeah, go for it. I'll have to look up Eric the Inventor. I don't think I've ever heard of him.
Good
Okay, he
stuff.
says it can cut aluminum pretty fast. I'd say, well, I bet it'll cut aluminum, but I bet it don't cut it pretty fast. Or
Aluminum.
it will cut it fast. It just won't be pretty. We'll put it that way. Jerry says, I missed the water cooled Gatton. Hopefully Chip, sir, is getting some good use out of her. Yeah, I hope he is. I hope he still has it. Or if not, if he pay it forward and give it to somebody else, that'd be good. But I haven't talked to old Chips in a while.
Yeah.
All the old gang is pretty much gone. This is all a different crowd than years ago when I started doing these live streams. Jerry's one of the old ones. Jerry Brown, not the governor, but the Poly Man. All right, I guess we'll get out of here in an hour and 20. That'll be about long enough, I think. I don't know. I think I put. I don't even remember. I'm pretty sure I put the link to that video in the description. If I didn't, I'm going to check now. I think I did.
Hey, there's Marcelo. Hey.
No, I guess I didn't. But I will add it here in a little bit. I could have sworn I added that, but I guess not. So anyway, yeah, go check out that video if you're interested, and check out some of his other videos if you want. He has some really good videos on how to build control. Like I said, he's pretty smart when it comes to the electronics and all that stuff. His style on some of his other videos just isn't my style because well, y'all go watch him and decide for yourself. All right, let's get out of here. Paul, you got any parting words, words of wisdom?
No, I have no words of wisdom. Just
Do,
be
do you
kind to
plan
one
on
another.
do you
Huh?
plan on doing some more BAMX anytime soon?
No, I don't. I've decided I don't like BAMX. I still have to finish my project.
Yeah,
I still have to sand the edges and in the handles and that round the edges over. But
yeah,
I just don't like it. I don't think it's that nice of a cut. I don't know. I just soon cut real wood than that. That's
yeah. Well, it is a grass technically, from what they tell me. But all right, Ryan, you got anything you want to add?
Saturday night, we'll be at the Making It Up As We Go on our Ballard Designs YouTube channel. And we'll talk some videos.
be there or be square.
Yeah.
Yeah, Saturday night, 9 p.m. Eastern.
Think.
I will be watching.
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
I always like to watch and see if my buddy Chit shows up.
Yeah, sometimes shit shows up in the background.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
But all right, well, we'll get out of here. Thanks everybody for hanging around tonight. I hope you enjoyed the thing, and we will see y'all next week. Good night,
See
everybody.
y'all. Bye.